Safe by Orphaned Account on AU3. Episode 8. Chapter 8. A week had passed. Hitoshi's paperwork had gone through. He was an official foster member of the Aizawa Yamada household. And honestly, it was great. Except for one thing. Hitoshi was still waiting for the other shoe to drop. Obviously, the heroes wouldn't hurt him. They had promised multiple times. But Hitoshi knew better. There were always a catch. He didn't want to find out what the other two would do if he got in trouble. He didn't even want to give them the chance, so he was cautious. He was better about asking questions. Both adults had told him it was fine and had even encouraged his curiosity, but he was still sure the other shoe was going to drop. He stayed quiet, out of the way. Hizashi was loud, sure, but that didn't mean he should be. When he woke up at weird hours, he would sneak to the kitchen. If Aizawa was there, he would go back to his room. He didn't want to distract him. He never took seconds at meals. He didn't want to be greedy. That didn't stop him from sneaking food into his room, though. He was lucky Aizawa had such an affirmative for energy bars and weird juice pouches. It wasn't that he was being fed enough. He just wanted to make sure that if his meals were limited, he would have backup. He also tried not to waste their money. That was a trickier one. The two adults had insisted that Hitoshi wouldn't pay for anything. Not clothes, not food, nothing. His only solution was to always pick the cheapest option. It was working, so far. He hoped that the heroes wouldn't pick up on anything. He didn't want to seem like he didn't trust them. He should have known better. It was dinner. He was still hungry, but he couldn't take seconds. "You sure you got enough to eat, kiddo?" Mike asked. "Mm-hmm." Hitoshi hummed. "I worked you pretty hard today, kid. Extra food wouldn't do you any harm." Aizawa said. He was eyeing Hitoshi from the end of the table. "I've got plenty. Thanks, though," he said. "Keep it brief. Don't leave the room for more pushing." "Okay, kiddo. Just let us know if you want more later," Mike said. He ruffled Hitoshi's hair and got up to start the dishes. "I'm gonna go to my room," he said. He didn't turn around to see the two watching him leave. He was still hungry. Aizawa had done a marathon training day with him. He was thankful. It was nice to train, but damn, was he hungry. I could pull off till later. I should get homework done, or just read. He settled on homework, letting everything drop around him as he focused. 2 hours later, the hunger was unbearable. He didn't even know why. He used to be able to go weeks, only on 1 or 2 meals a day. Maybe it was because he was used to eating more meals? He got up from his desk and walked up over to his dresser. He opened up the top drawer, his sock drawer, and he reached towards the back, completely focused on his task. He didn't hear a knocking on the door behind him. He also didn't hear the door open. He felt around for another minute before finding what he was looking for. An energy bar that he had hidden a few days ago. He turned around and came face to face with Yamada Hizashi. He panicked. "Oh shit. Oh fuck. This is bad. Really bad. They know that I stole from them. They didn't say what would happen if I broke the rules. They didn't say they won't hurt me, but what does that mean?" He didn't realize it, but he had started backing up. He was broken out of his thoughts when he hit the back of the wall. He slid to the ground and curled in on himself. He didn't want to see the look of disappointment on Mike's face. He had been so careful. If he had just paid more attention, he wouldn't have gotten caught. He was broken out of his thoughts by a gentle hand on his shoulder. He flinched, and the hand went away. He was more present now, though, and he took a moment to listen. Yamada was talking him through a breathing exercise. "Okay, kiddo. In for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Can you do that for me?" Hitoshi was nothing if not obedient, so he tried. He couldn't get through the first one without hyperventilating again, but by the third try, he was able to breathe better. "Can I touch you, kid?" Hizashi asked. Hitoshi nodded. He didn't think he could speak. Hizashi gently put his arms around Hitoshi's shoulder, pulling him to his side. He had plenty of room to get out if he needed to. Yamada brought a hand up to run it through Hitoshi's hair. He couldn't help but lean into it. After his breathing returned to what could be called normal, Hizashi spoke. So, want to tell me what all that was about? Hitoshi cleared his throat. I thought, when you found out I had stolen food, I thought you would punish me. We already told you, kiddo. We aren't going to hurt you. Ever. I know, but that's not the same as a punishment. Oh? I mean, you can hurt someone as a punishment, but there were other things you could do too. Like what? So he wanted Hitoshi to read out a list of punishments for himself. He could do that. You could limit my meals, or put me in the closet, or assign me chores, or put me in a He was cut off. Kiddo, we aren't going to do any of that to you. That's abuse. Even if it doesn't physically hurt, it mentally does. Hitoshi stayed silent. Listen, this isn't my first rodeo. I was raised in foster homes too. You were? Yep. And listen, they fucked me up bad. I was labeled a problem kid because of my quirk. But you have so good control of your quirk. So do you. Hitoshi looked at the ground. Look, kid, you and I have more in common than you might think. I had a muzzle too. A quirk inhibitator. I had less control over my volume as a kid. If I wasn't careful, I'd busted windows every time I laughed. Hitoshi snorted at the image of his teacher breaking every window in a building. I was moved into the Yamada household before I started going into UA. They're great, the closest thing I've ever had to parents. But when I first moved in, I hated them. Why? Because I was waiting for the inevitable punishment to come. Hitoshi's breath sucked in. That's what I thought. Like I said, kiddo, we have a lot in common. I'm sorry about stealing food. Hizashi sighed. It sounded like one of Aizawa's sighs. Hitoshi, it's not stealing. But they weren't mine. You're welcome to anything in the kitchen. Anytime. But, no buts. If you're hungry, I want you to eat. I wasn't hungry earlier. Bullshit. Hitoshi looked at the floor again. I'm fine with you keeping food in here, kid. But, bugs. Hizashi shivered at the mention of bugs. We live on the 4th floor for a reason, Hitoshi. Are you sure it's okay? Absolutely. Hizashi stood up, extending a hand to Hitoshi's. Come on, let's go get you some real food. Aizawa says he could live off those bars, but can and should are different things. Hitoshi snorted again and gives Mike a soft smile. Thanks. No problem, kiddo. Okay, alright. More Mike and Hitoshi. I'm feeling like I'm gonna have to change that thumbnail. Normally Aizawa is the one that gets most of the action. So, it is a very pleasant surprise to see that it is Mike who's getting most of the action. Sorry if you didn't hear my voice. I turned towards my window. But it is a pleasant surprise to see that Mike is the one that's actually getting most of the action. I am going to say that I really enjoy that. I like Mike with a little more of action. I don't get to see it as much, so I'm not complaining. Trust me. God, am I not complaining. I am being fed. Wined and dined. Okay. Alright. Wined and dined, guys. Wined and dined. But I am super sorry. Not sorry, what? I'm super excited to see all of that. I always like Dadmic a lot. Hey, this chapter has a migraine in it. I don't get migraines, but I did my best darnest to write one. If this isn't accurate to your personal experience, that's chill. Please don't kill me. I don't get, well, okay, I've been told by my mom that I do get migraines, right? Because I get headaches that are prolonged, and by prolonged, I mean it could last like 4 or 5 days. Consistent, by the way. The only times I don't feel the migraine is when I'm sleeping. And even then, sometimes. I have gotten one really bad splitting headache, like wanting to slam my head against the wall just because the pain is so unbearable. Pain that even air touching my head hurt. It was not enjoyable in the least. I hated every second of it. It was absolute agony. But I've gotten one of those, and oh my god. But yeah, headaches are typical. In fact, the past month I've been combating, the past 2-3 weeks I have been combating an ongoing headache that just comes and goes as it pleases. It comes, it stays for a couple days, and then it goes away, and then it comes back again. Mother Dearest believes that it is finally my body completely hating me. So, I mean, I understand it. I do not feed it properly. I do not give it water properly. Or I mean, like, I am now, but in the past I didn't, so it's catching up to me. It's fucking catching up. I can see it in the horizon. But, I'm excited to see that. I'm excited. Maybe we'll get a little more Mike. I like the adding that Mike was in. I always like when they add Mike having a muzzle in his past. I always like it. Obviously, I don't like it, but like, you get what I mean. I always also like Mike being in the foster care. I love that. I love the thought that Mike deafened his parents, and that's why he's in the foster care system. Love it. Absolutely love it. It brings a little more depth to his character in my perspective, and I always love saying it. So I am excited to see that here. Soups, sykes. Okay, that's a word that I said. That's okay. As always, my raindrops. Make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.